Welcome back to that Heartbreak Hogs podcast. Mm, mm. Sid, how was the game? You were there. Did-
Very unfortunate, Ross. Very, very unfortunate.
oh,
I and you know what? I tried selling my tickets honestly before the
yeah,
game. I was like, it's a rainy day. I don't know if I want to go. Um, Tickets didn't sell, so I was like, you know what? Might as well enjoy maybe a good game, maybe a good atmosphere, and like let's just go. Let's see how it goes.
yeah.
And then I ended up going, and we absolutely got wrecked. Wrecked. It was not close. It was a terrible time. We were right around Ole Miss fans, like a lot of Ole Miss fans. So it was just a beating, and we all we could do was just take that beating from the fans, from the sidelines we were right next to. I
hmm
mean, the Ole Miss sidelines. All we could do was just take it, and yeah, I can say it was unfortunate being there, and there's takeaways like there always is in every game, but
Yeah.
from this game, it was just a whole lot of bad.
That's tough to hear, man. That is tough
Left,
to hear.
I love saying the full game every game, but I think I'm hoping a lot of people can't blame me for leaving this one early.
hmm
Um, this one was tough to kind of keep. I was with some friends, and it was tough to keep everyone there
Yeah.
after just not being even close.
hmm Yeah. That's what I was thinking while I was watching the game. Is I remember your tradition in college of staying the whole entire game. Um, but I was thinking to myself, is there ever going to be a point where he's just fed up and being there? That it's not worth staying just for tradition's sake. But we're gonna get into this game a little bit more detail. If you've made it this far and want to continue watching our analysis of this, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing to our channel. We are an independent channel. We both have full-time jobs outside of this. We work really hard to put this content out there. So we are diehard Razorback fans, and it means a lot to us to talk about the Razorbacks and just engage with the community of more Razorbacks out there. So please consider hitting the like button, commenting down below, and subscribing to our channel. Um, we're gonna try our best to kind of stay positive here, not get too moody about the situation, and kind of have fun with it and try to find a light to the end of the tunnel. But man, it is tough. I don't think as a Razorback fan, us doing predictions each week, this was not on one of my scenarios playing out. We tried doing scenarios of different things that could happen in this game. What are some keys for Arkansas to really take this thing and win it? And what were some scenarios if they're gonna lose this thing? And you and I both talked about the defensive backs being very concerning. Um, I don't think either of us thought it was going to be this bad. To put 63 points, one of their receivers had 5 touchdown catches. How many touchdown catches does this guy need to get to realize that we should probably put double coverage on him? Um, and man, I'm not going to say I predicted this or anything with T. Will. I have been saying this all year long. T. Will is an overrated defensive coordinator. I don't think he's trash. I don't think he's a bad defensive coordinator. But there are fans out there that think that he is this legendary, elite defensive coordinator, and he is mid at best. We do not have a top SEC defense. We have not had a top SEC defense since he's been here. We do not recruit at the top half of the SEC. We do not play like a top half SEC defense. He has some very, very good um, like prepare game preparations for some games. It's like, man, Tennessee, great. However, you copied and pasted what Oklahoma did. But still, you executed great. We won the game because of our defense in that game. Then you have this, and you have Mississippi State. Mississippi State put a bunch of yards on us. And Sid and I talked on here and said, the DBs. Sid was like, I'm tired of the dancing. I'm tired of the celebrating. The DBs ain't doing anything. Why are they celebrating? And boom. What was the biggest problem in this game? The DBs. I mean, Sid, how tough was it buying tickets, buying season tickets, spending your money, spending your time? The weather, I mean, it looked gloomy out there. At least it wasn't raining. But to spend your time going to a game like that, and I'm trying not to get too animated here, it's just the more you talk about it, the more disappointing it is. What is the goal of this program, man? I mean, that just, to me, from the television, it looked like give up. In the stadium, you're seeing both sidelines. You're seeing the game play out. Did it look like Arkansas was focused? Did it look like we were out of focus, or just straight out, Coach, what the heck was going on, man? What did you see out there? Just,
Yeah, let me start off with T Will. So I think this is the first time actually. I know you said you've been talking about it all season, but I think this is the truly the first time that I think from you've seems like you're putting a lot more blame on T Will now than you have
yeah. I've
for
been holding
like the
back.
season
I've been,
pass.
yeah.
Um, and
I
in
said, wait
more
till the
terms,
second half. Yeah.
there's games where you've like raved about T Will, of course. And then there's games where you might have said taken the blame out of T Will and put it on Coach Pittman. But
Yeah.
I think this one, I mean, fair to do so, right? Getting 63 points put against you as a defensive corner, as a defensive coordinator, has to come down on you as a blame. Um, you just can't happen, and especially against an SEC school, and like in when you're playing an SEC school in the same conference, it just cannot happen. And it
Yeah.
seemed like we were a high school team compared playing against giants,
Yeah.
where that should not be the case, right? There's a lot
No.
of goods and bads and about different games, but this just seemed like we were dominated the whole game and no confidence was there um,
Ole Miss broke
at all.
records. They have
They broke
never
records
done this to us.
and okay,
Like
so
anybody in the SEC.
going into this
They haven't
game,
won here since 2008.
right? Going into this game, I think a little bit of it has to do with this being a homecoming game too, right?
Yeah.
Like for the other team, if you're a ranked opponent, not even that, a ranked opponent in the same conference, and you going into it as a homecoming game, coming into this, you've got to have a chip on your like shoulder. And I kind of mentioned this last week as well, but
Yeah.
I think that chip you could tell from Jackson Dart, you could tell
Hmm.
from that whole team that even though when they didn't score that first drive, um, they had that chip. They wanted to score every single time they went down there,
Yeah.
and kind of kind of do it in our faces, do it in the fans' faces, do it in coaches' faces, do it in the whole state's face. And I mean, I don't know if you saw that in the on TV, but it was right ahead of us, right in front of my section at least.
Yep.
They had a basketball post set up,
Yep.
and with the Razorbacks
Dunking on it
logo
over
on
and
it, and
over
they
and
were
over
doing
again.
alley oops and just dunking on it every single
360s
time.
and yeah.
360s, alley oops. They were just laughing and staring at us the whole time, and as fans, that's a disappointment, right? Our coaches, our team, when they don't have that fire, and when the opposing team is doing that to you on your
Yeah.
homecoming game, um, it's just straight disappointment in terms of there's no fire from us, and all the fire I saw was coming from that end of the field, that side, that team,
Hmm.
and really that
Yeah.
confidence wasn't there the whole game. And I would say as they started getting more and more momentum, I mean they repeated plays so many times that kept working, kept working. Why would they not? When Jackson Dart had to do was just throw the ball downfield, and
Our
he was either
DBs
gonna
would
get
be
a
beat.
he was either gonna get a PI call or they're gonna
Yep.
catch the ball. I mean, that's all he had to do, and he did
Yeah.
2 back-to-back, same exact plays, and it was just nuts to see where all we could do was watch.
Yeah.
All we could do was watch, and, yeah, I mean, that
Yeah.
fire, I think, was just there was no in-game adjustments that we had talked about that need to be made. There was nothing really in terms of from the team, from the coaches, from Talon, from the defense. Like
Yeah.
I just didn't. This was a horrible, horrible game. But I think it
Were
was a
you able
lack
to
of confidence.
were you able to see the energy of our team in their sidelines compared to Ole Miss? Was there anybody chewing anybody out? Was there anybody on our sidelines trying to get everybody back together?
I would
Did you
say not
notice
as
any of
much
that?
so because not as much so because it was on the opposing end from where I was
Yeah.
sitting, and as I'm closer to the end zone, it's kind of harder to see that side of the sideline. But
Okay.
um, not on the field. I mean, not anything that they showed up on the screen. Not anything noticeable. It just looked like maybe a couple guys like Braylon Russell and that wanted to like stay. They were still passionate, wanted to stay in the game. But from
Right.
Talon, no. And from your lead quarterback, when you're seeing the opposing quarterback have that much fire on like visibly like being upset when they're not scoring seven,
Yeah.
visibly upset when they are scoring seven and kind of rubbing it in the face. But on the opposite end, just not seeing that from Talon Green, our quarterback, our star quarterback, is kind of a letdown to the fans and lets down to I guess the rest of the players too, because I think you lose motivation when your starting quarterback isn't motivated and
Yeah.
doesn't have that confidence.
I think that means I, I think we should get into this next topic about the quarterback. And I have been an advocate for Taylon Green. I'm not gonna, say that I haven't. I'm gonna admit that.
Yeah.
Um, I still am leaning that he is our best option, but I also am open to just see what happens if you put Malachi out there against a real defense in a situation where they're not letting you score like they did like they did with Tennessee. Um, they're not up by 30 like it was with Ole Miss where they're dunking and they're doing all this stuff on the sideline, dancing and 360ing and all that stuff. Put him first quarter through fourth quarter and let's just see it. Let's see it play out. Let's see if he can do anything. In my opinion, I kind of think that even though I still personally am leaning towards I think Taylon Green is your best option to win from what I've seen in the situations that have happened, I still am open to seeing Malachi put out there just in case. Just in case we just haven't seen enough and we really haven't seen what he can do in a real game situation and maybe he does come out. Again, I still am leaning Talon, but I don't think Talon will win against Texas. Watching Texas, it's like, oh, no way. Like watching this Ole Miss game, it's like, no way. Like, might as well just try something different.
Yeah.
What's your take on the quarterback situation and all that? I'll let you get
Yeah, no,
yours.
here's my kind of take on this quarterback situation and Talon Green. Um, I think he could very well win this game against Texas if he
Really?
gets the confidence. I'm saying, I mean, we're not that we're gonna win, but now
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying
Be
that.
very clear about that.
Yeah, yeah. Let me be clear. I'm not saying we're gonna win, but I'm saying
Yeah, I was not
Talon
expecting
Green,
that.
Talon Green as a quarterback. There's gonna be a but coming up too, but
Oh,
Talon Green as a quarterback, as our starting quarterback, he
yeah.
can. win games and perform the best of the top half that you were talking about earlier of the SEC, he can do that when he has that confidence in him, when he's playing with passion, when he is kind of making things work out of nothing, and he's comfortable in his throwing ability, comfortable in his rushing ability, and like he is making quick decisions.
Mhm.
Now, when he loses that, he loses it altogether. He is completely um, out of it. He holds on to the ball too long. He kind of just decides when to run, when not to run. He thinks
Yep.
everything is on his shoulders. Doesn't trust his teammates. All that to say, when that happens, when he loses his confidence early, he performs, I would say, to the bottom half of this conference, if not the bottom half of college football as a quarterback. I mean, it's just the talent is there, but I think he gets in his head, and you can tell when it's in his head, he is just another quarterback, another person
Mhm.
playing out on that field, and that's not the quarterback we need. So,
No.
as a coach, and as we see, if that ever happens where he's losing the confidence, I think at this point just take him out. I mean, get him out of that field, because it's not gonna turn it around while he's just on that field. It's just not. He's not the person that kind of can have like a fish brain. Think a think 10 seconds and move on to the next play. Move
Oh,
on to the
okay,
next
okay.
play.
Yeah.
He initially just thinks about, gets in his mind about that bad play or that bit misplay, and then keeps thinking about it, keeps thinking about it,
Mhm.
and then the next play is bad, the next play is bad, the next play is bad. But versus when it's good, it's good after good after good. I think
Mm.
he's just not
Okay.
able to switch switch that part of the brain off where it's just he's can stop
He's
thinking about
yeah.
that old
He's
play
seeing his
and
demons.
exactly, and he's just
Yeah.
thinking about overthinking that play for the next play. And I think that's what needs to change for the Texas game, for I guess the rest of the season. Next year's a different story. We can talk about that if he should be a starting quarterback. I don't think so, but as of this, when we have 3 games left,
Yeah.
in these 3 games, when we see that confidence, I think lacking, um, or if he's not playing, like starts to play not well, take him out immediately. Is my take on this, and put in Malachi at that point. Where let's see if Malachi has that same brain as well, where he can kind of move on from a bad play and
Right.
and go on to the next play and see what he can do. Um, and just let's see how he does if Taylor Green again lacks that confidence. If he's on that confident level, like I said earlier, he is performing at the top, best of his abilities, best of that SEC conference. Like
Mm.
he can match up with whoever, but
So you think when he's confident, his ceiling's high?
is very high. But his floor is very very low when that confidence lacks. So it's like,
Yeah.
which one are you going to get? You don't know, but he could be SEC Player of the Week, or he could be the worst SEC Player of the Week.
Yeah.
It's just depending on the plays and what's in his mind, play after play. If it goes well, if we start off hot,
Yeah.
um, do
And
well. I mean, we
that
stopped
offensive
them.
line too, man.
Like I think when we got stopped in the end zone,
Oh,
it was over for him. After that game, I think it was just
that play.
that play. Yeah, after that
Yeah.
play, it was just playing over and over in his mind, and he
Yeah,
just
that's a
couldn't
good
forget
point.
about it, and he could not move on for the rest of the game. And there's a whole lot of ball game left, right? After
Mhm.
that play, there's a whole lot of ball game
I
left.
was thinking the same thing. As soon as that happened, I'm like, we're in trouble.
Yeah,
We're in really big trouble. Anytime something like that happens to Arkansas, we don't recover. It happens in A&M
yeah,
games every single time there's some sort of play like that against A&M, we lose. As soon as I saw that, it was like, oh, we're toast. Oklahoma
right.
State, there was a similar situation, and yeah,
I was even thinking that when we got the ball with only that much space left, I was like, here we go. I don't know if
yeah,
we're gonna get out of this, and I mean, we didn't, but after that play, it was just you could see that downhill. I mean, he had a few good plays towards the end where he like made a run for it, but I think he was taking those runs on his shoulders, not trusting his teammates, and
yeah.
And so, yes, we got a 15-yard gain from it, but he also almost got hurt. Um,
Yeah. So
so
are you suggesting that we put in Malachi and try it out? Or are you saying put Talon in the first couple plays, see how he goes, but if he goes a couple 3 and outs, then put Malachi in? Is that
yeah,
what you're
exactly. I think
so
that's
you're still
exactly what I'm saying.
starting
So I'm
Talon?
starting Talon
Okay.
for the game as he should,
Right.
and then see how the first drive goes, the second
Yeah.
drive goes. I think if he after that, if they're just kind of running all over us and he just cannot do it,
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be able to for the rest of the game. It's not just that switch isn't going to turn on for him based off of what I've seen for this whole season.
How much of Malachi did you see before you ended up leaving?
I saw after Taylor went out a little bit, I saw a few plays from him. I didn't see the full game from him, but I we went to Dixon Street, so I watched the rest of the um, game there. But
Okay. So watching him live, watching the two live, like in your face, what did you think of Malachi's confidence versus Talon? To me, Malachi just I sense that there's a lack of leadership on his end to talk, like talking. I
mhm,
feel like Talon is more engaging with everybody. He's not the I'm gonna pound your ass if excuse my language. I'm not gonna, you know, give you a whooping, or a licking with my, with just words or anything like that, or physical up in your face, do any of that. But he's going to be talking to you. He's going to be grabbing you and pulling you close, either to give you, hey, I'm here for you, bro. Let's pick each other up and go. He's that kind of leader. He talks. And I don't get that sense from Malachi of having either, that he's just kind of quiet and he just kind of goes with whatever's given to him and doesn't
yeah.
create a situation. He takes the given situation. And I see Talon as more of the creator of situations. Did you get that vibe from him? Like, do you kind of sense a different vibe of the quarterbacks whenever it comes to a leadership perspective, athletic? Like, what was your overall take of the two, seeing them live?
I get that. I just again, this comes down to I don't think Talon is like picking players up or building confidence when he lacks that confidence. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
when he is doing well, he is able to kind of rally the troops around him. But
Right.
no, Malachi also, I mean, I think that skill he needs to learn for sure. But as
Yeah.
a freshman, like rallying these teammates around you that are kind of when you're put into the situation as a backup quarterback as a
Yeah.
freshman, it's harder to kind of lead your troops, right?
Yeah.
It can
He is
be,
a
and so
redshirt
that's
freshman, so he has
and
been
so
here a year.
yeah, but he never had the full start, is what I'm saying. So
Right.
when you just don't have that trust, I don't know. He's gonna have to build that skill set and build that trust for his teammates, and
Yeah.
then I think they will be more inclined to be like, "This is our guy now.
Yeah.
This is
Because
someone that
he
can lead us."
practices with the twos is kind of what you're getting at, and then
Exactly. So
the ones are not really. He's not in sync with them as much.
exactly. I think this is just a skill set that not everybody
Hmm.
picks up quickly, but if he is, it's that switch is a big part
Yeah.
of of I think it's bigger than actually like possibly talking to your teammates and like leading your teammates. I don't. It's both. They're both up there, one and two. But I think if you're continue dwelling down, not trusting your teammates, losing your confidence, I think
Yeah.
that's a lot more important than kind of gaining that trust from your teammates. And the way, how do you gain that trust from your teammates? You perform well, and you kind of
Exactly.
switch plays out. Kind of trust your teammates. You can keep throwing them the ball, keep looking their way, even if they're making mistakes or if they made a mistake.
Yeah.
Um, Instead of just thinking the whole world is on your shoulders,
Right.
and you have to win this game or nobody else can. That's I get that as a quarterback, it's easy to do, but you have a whole team that you have to kind of learn, like, whole team to rely on almost, like, the whole, like, I even said this last week, the whole team needs to work together to
Right. It's not
kinda
just
win.
you.
No, I mean, yes, does our O-line is our O-line great? No. Um, am I gonna bash on them like Pittman did?
I
No,
was
because,
just gonna ask you about that.
yeah,
I was gonna get to that next. On
yeah.
the broadcast, because you were at the game, on the broadcast, Pittman had a mic'd up session. And at first, my dad was telling me about it. I was on the phone with him during the game, and I missed it live. And I rewatched it later, and oh my God. Have you seen the clip?
I've seen the clip after the obviously after the fact.
I have a take on it, but what was your take when you saw that clip of what Pittman said about his offensive line and his players? Blue light
I think
special.
I think to say that during the season, during the game, and not like, for a fact your players are gonna know you said that. It's like your players, and you've got 3 games left. Everyone that's playing for you is gonna know that you said that. As a player, why would you wanna play for someone like that?
I know, man.
Why would you Okay, that's as a player, current player, right? As a
Yeah.
player that's thinking about coming to Arkansas as even a O-line, why would you wanna play for someone like that? That knows when you're not potentially playing well, they're gonna call you out and just be and blame it on NIL. I think that
I couldn't
was
believe he said it.
potentially like, a nail in the coffin for him a little bit, and
Yeah.
I know I've been, like, staying out of it in terms of, like, no nothing against him or whatnot,
Yeah.
but he has to realize, like, the actions he's taking, are impacting the team and the future of this team.
Do you think that anybody heard that like at the game or somebody like do you think that that had any effect on the play? Like do you think that anybody found out about how he said it or I guess they don't hear was it mic'd up
I
to the
would doubt
stadium
it
or
during the
anything?
game. Yeah, I would
Was
doubt
it
it during the game.
was the stadium hearing this or was it only
Mm-mm.
through the TV? Okay, so you didn't know about it until after the game when you had come back.
Yeah, right. I
Okay.
didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, no, so I doubt the players did.
Okay.
I think he was just looking for someone to blame and something to blame, and
Yeah.
he chose poorly, in my
I
opinion.
wonder did he know he was mic'd up? Like was that like an intentional scripted like mic'd up thing because why the
I don't
heck would
know.
you
It
call your
sounded like,
boys cheap and undesirable? That's basically what he's saying. It's like, "Hey, I've
yeah,
got the blue light special and you've got Louis Vuitton. I've got the cheap stuff, the undesirable stuff and you've got the flashy desirable you know, all the things that everybody wants, all
yeah.
the people everybody wants." That's how I interpreted it. And when my dad was telling me that he just had said that, it said like, NIL we can't get the same level of players. I was like, no, he didn't say it like that. There's no way he said that. Like, what? There's no way that
Yeah.
he just started talking about NIL like that and said that Ole Miss got higher, better players from NIL. I was like, there's no way he said that. You must be interpreting it wrong. And I
Yeah,
watched
no.
it, and it was like, and we're not gonna play it on here just because of copyright stuff and all that. It shouldn't be too hard to find, but oof. And honestly, as Hog fans watching this video, you guys probably have already seen it. So,
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't know he was mic'd
mm.
up, and he said it, it's
Still, yeah,
just as dumb,
yeah.
um, as exactly. I just I can't believe him. I can't, I honestly, as, a fan,
Yeah.
Razorback fan. I don't know how he comes out of this like on top and kind of looking
Yeah.
good from it. He kind of hurt himself. Um, I
Yeah,
get what
saying
he's trying
that.
to do, kind of just putting like the blame somewhere else, but in this way, he hurt it across the nation. Like I mean,
Yeah.
like for every team, like as a coach to blame it on that, I think if you're looking at it, if I wasn't even a Razorback fan, if I was an Ole Miss fan, if I was a
Yeah.
LSU, Georgia, whatever team,
You'd be like,
non-conference,
"Ooh."
I would be like, yeah, I if this guy's gonna blame just NIL,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want him
And
as my
call your
head coach.
boys cheap.
Yeah,
Saying, "Yeah, yeah,
well,
we got guys that we're barely paying over here.
yeah,
We've
it
got the
sounds like
cheap labor.
it. It sounds
We're
like
made
you
in
were.
China over here."
It sounds like you were mic'd up, not the head coach of Arkansas football.
Yeah, yeah. We got the made in China squad over here. It's like, what?
Uh,
Anyway, I think it is time to close this one out. We're at about 30 minutes. We are going to do a deeper dive into the situation with Coach Pittman in another episode, and just more of a deep dive of scenarios that can play out, things that, accountability issues going on with the program. What are the program's goals and stuff like that. But
I
before
mean,
we do, did you want to mention anything else on this segment?
um, kudos to Jackson Dart and Ole Miss.
Exact.
They
Yeah.
showed up, and he looked like like an Heisman candidate from that one game.
Yeah.
He was doing everything he wanted to. I mean, he had what 515 yards, 6 touchdowns. Um, that's all you really need to say.
Yeah.
Kudos to him. Kudos to that team. I mean,
Yeah.
it
They
did
were
it did
prepared.
it
They were ready. They were
did it
hungry.
suck that they were rubbing it in my face like while I'm standing right next to them?
Yeah.
No, but hey, we deserved it. I mean, they came in with a chip on their shoulder. Definitely didn't overlook us,
Hmm.
and yeah, hopefully we can have a fish brain and move on to the next week or move on to Texas game without, and we see a brand new team.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, for me too, as well. Congratulations to Ole Miss. They were ready. They were prepared. They were hungry, and they came in and took care of business. I will say I am skeptical of Ole Miss is of how good they are. I think that they are a good team. I don't know if they're as elite as they looked. I think that
Yeah,
may have been more of Arkansas just looked like a deer in headlights. And that could have been just because of Ole Miss's game plan. We don't know. We'll have to kind of see what happens with Georgia. But
yeah.
nonetheless, congratulations to Ole Miss. They definitely had the better game plan. Again, they were hungrier, they were ready, and they came in and they won the football game. So, congratulations to
Well,
them.
last thing was this.
Oh,
Stop it. And stop it. You're making us look bad and then just comically like not holding on to the
oh my
football.
gosh.
This was like I honestly couldn't believe my eyes towards the end of the game when
I know. You were so
I
mad last week and going like, I swear I better not see that at this game.
well, that and then just like, yeah,
I
comically,
cannot
this looked
believe
like
my eyes.
a Pewee league when we were like just running with the ball, kept and whoop, there goes the
Oop.
ball. Um, here's 20 yards. Oh, here's goes the ball. Is their ball now. This
Yeah.
was like happened so many times. It just looked like it was like just a, I was watching it on Comedy Central at one point. And this was when I was already on Dixon Street, but it was like it was just, and I'm sure we had our backups in, but like
Yeah.
let's move on from this game and forget this ever happened.
Oh, no, we have to do one more segment where we're probably going to have to talk about the game a little bit. But yeah, no, we'll close this video out. Guys, if you made it this far, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let us know down below your thoughts of the game. Again, we are diehard Razorback fans. We love our Hogs. We're going to continue talking about them. But it is tough, man. It's tough whenever I mean I live in Austin, so I'm not there buying the season tickets, but I was really considering coming up for the Texas game, and now I'm not. I'm just not going to waste my time and energy and money to go up there and just watch an embarrassing blowout. I'm going to be rooting for them. I want them to win, but I just am not going to put my time and resources to go whenever I see a product like this. I just can't. I can't. And it really sucks to say that, but I don't want anybody to take that as I'm rooting for them to lose or anything. I'm not. I'm going to be rooting for them at home. I will be watching the game and rooting for them. Again, please
I got
like,
2 tickets for sale, so if anybody wants some,
in the comment section.
let me
If you, I
know.
guess if you're going, I guess Sid will be watching from his TV as well, or in his living room as well. So anyway, thanks guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next segment. See y'all later.
See ya.